How y'all doing out there? Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Easy Work Boxing, baby. About to hit you everywhere but under your feet with this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, baby. Y'all know what it is. We keep it real over here. No bias talk. No racism at his all. You understand me? First, I want to give a shout out to Javante Tank Davis. Black man getting his bread. Successful black man, you know what I'm saying, getting his money. Got a career going for himself. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. But I get on here and I speak the truth on what I feel and what most other fans feel. If you ain't a penis rider or somebody who just a fanboy of somebody, you understand me? You understand? So let's go in. Okay. Javante Tank Davis, went out there beat Frank Martin. Frank Martin, a fighter who still has an amateur mindset when it comes to boxing. Take nothing away from Frank Martin. He's a hell of a fighter. But we all should have known, like I told y'all, that he was going to beat him. I put it in the metaphor of, would you want a mechanic that's been working on cars since he was 9, or would you want a mechanic that started working on cars when he was 21? Of course you would pick the one that's been working on cars since he was 9. We all know that Frank Martin came into the game late, which means that Tank had more knowledge in his head about boxing than Frank Martin could think of. But a lot of y'all, don't really know too much about boxing, so y'all thought and looked at the size of Frank Martin, his muscles, and y'all said, Frank Martin is going to beat Tank Davis, not knowing nothing about boxing. Muscles and size don't have nothing to do with skills, okay? Godson, what's up with you? Now this fight has came about. My guess was he was going to go after Jose Valenzuela. They came out, Leonard Ellerby came out, oh, we not going after Jose Valenzuela. Yeah, because y'all know he in the rematch clause and he want to fight to get his belt back. That's why y'all ain't go after Jose Valenzuela. And now we get Lamont Roach Jr. First, I was going to apologize, as a man, to Lamont Roach Jr. for saying that, he's a bum. I apologize to you for that, my brother. You go out there and you risk your life for the sport that we love, with contact sports. You can go out there and something can happen to you at any moment, my brother. So I apologize to you for that. The bomb is really Tank. The bomb is really Tank Davis. Resume sucks. He will never be undisputed. He will never be unified. He shouldn't even be put in the Hall of Fame. He should be put nowhere in the Hall of Fame. And it's sad that we got these penis riding channels and y'all out here listening to these folks talking, saying that they're going to make this fight. They're going to try to make this fight something special. Tank has a format for every fight that he has. If y'all ain't knows yet, his format is it's a sparring situation. They grew up together. They sparred. Somebody got tape on him, and then they make the fight go off somebody sparring with Tank. That's his format for every time it's time for him to make a low level fight. And that's what they're doing now. Oh, him and Lamont Roach sparred each other. They grew up together. They fought in the amateur. So that don't mean nobody want to see it. Just the same thing y'all do every time with one of his opponents. Every time. How many times Tank gonna have opponents that come up from other weight class to fight him? Leo Santa Cruz did. Oh, let me put up Tank resume as well. Now we got Lamont Roach coming from 130, and ain't nobody even talking about the fact they trying to hide that or something. This man coming up from 130. All the fighters at 135, 140 that this man could go fight, and he go and pick somebody from 130 to fight, and y'all cool with that? The face of boxing? That's what y'all call him, right? The face of boxing? Going to pick a dude from 130? And y'all want to use Hector Luis Garcia as a reason that they should fight? What? When Lamont Roach barely got away with that victory, and y'all gonna use that as a reason of why they should share the ring together? 30-0, 28 KOs, never unified. Never unified. What's going on with the sport of boxing that y'all love this? What's going on with the sport of boxing that y'all would accept this from somebody who y'all call the face of boxing? When we gonna get a real fight, bro? Oh, everybody beat it themselves. Everybody ain't beat themselves out. Y'all got to think now. Come on, use your brain. One of the highest paid boxers out there right now. And you mean to tell me nobody from 135 will sign a contract for a big payday? Nobody from 140 will sign a contract for a big payday. Y'all gonna use that narrative on us? What's the next thing? Boxing is a business. Oh, some of y'all out here saying that this is a tune-up fight. Oh, this is for Tank to keep busy. I don't care if it was for him to keep busy. He could have kept busy fighting anybody else but somebody from 130. Tank, you are a disgrace to boxing. It's pathetic what you out here doing to your fans, the ones that don't know no better. And they finna go out here and pay $90 to see you fight another, I ain't gonna say nobody, but somebody who we know ain't gonna beat you. Y'all finna pay $90 for that? Y'all gonna pay $90 for that? Bro, you be taking up for T.O. races. I don't take up for T.O. I go in on T.O. too. You have to actually watch my channel, my brother. You know, I think T.O. is a very intelligent dude. He delusional as hell at times. He's very delusional. But, you know, T.O., you know, him and his father need help. You know what I'm saying? But I don't take up for nobody, especially not a racist, because I'm not a racist. You know, people have their right to their opinion, and it don't affect me none. You know, because whatever T.O. say, I'm not a part of it. You know, so shout out to T.O. and shout out to anybody else that got a comment about being racist or anything like that. It don't affect me because I know who I am and what I'm here for. So let me welcome AC on to the panel. AC, what it do, my brother?
What it do, bro? What it do? On this one, I might give you. Well, if I'm not, I'm gonna give you a little pushback because I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna go here with it.
Yes, sir.
To me, this is a good fight when the question is asked. You know, who is fighting the top of their division? Are we getting the best fights? Are we getting the best fight in the best? So when you look at it, there is a legitimate history between Roach and Tank.
Let me say this right quick.
Go
But
ahead.
is this history good enough for the fans? I mean, this day protocol for Tank every time he fight. We always got to deal with, oh, they sparred together. They got history together. That has nothing to do with this man being so-called called the face of boxing. Has never
Well,
been unified.
I
What?
don't believe he's the face of boxing, not by a long shot, because he's not doing anything that who I would consider, and I don't want to diverge into that conversation, but who I would consider the real face of boxing. It's definitely not Tank, and it's definitely not Canelo. Uh,
Okay.
so with that being said, when I look at it and I look at what fans were willing to accept, depending on whatever side of the fence you're on, fans were willing to accept Shakur versus Cordina because the public perception was everybody ducking Shakur. Don't nobody want to duck. Don't nobody want to fight Shakur. So the same division Tank is in, even though he's supposed to be the money man of that division and the face of boxing for that division,
Mhm.
I would say, listen, here's my issue with you, Tank. If you're the money man, you're the face of boxing for this division, it should be easy as hell for you to make these fights and land these fights.
Thank you.
That's where I'm gonna give you your criticism. Now, when it comes down to Lamont Roach, when I look at it, will I be more excited to watch Lamont Roach versus Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina?
I'm sorry. What you say now?
I said, would I be more excited to watch Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson versus uh, Joe Cordina? I
Honestly,
know Shakur's out of that fight and everything, but when I weigh that out and then look at the public perception of both of these fights, and then go on panels where some are heavy favorites of Tank, some are heavy favorites of Shakur, and I listen to the excuses. The excuses are the exact same thing, but one will have a problem with the other because of this thing, and the other one will have a problem with the other because of this thing. When both of those guys are the top of the division at 35, and neither one of them are bagging one of the top guys at 35.
True.
So when we look at it, are we looking at it? Are we looking at something that the higher ups want us to bicker with each other over the same exact situation, and we constantly keep telling ourselves, or when we get in these debates, keep that same energy, keep that same energy. But it is the same energy because Joe Cordina is ranked number 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's still in 35, but he's ranked number 13th, and you're coming off a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Lamont Roach is a 135 pounder. Although he said he could go up to 40 or go back down, he could go up to. He's a 130 pounder. He's a 130 pounder, but he could go up to 35 and he could go up to 40. He has no problem with making that. And when you look at the 140s to 130s, all of those guys are transitional. Pretty much all of them could go, like the ones that are really fighting in that weight class, fighting true to their weight. They can all bounce between 140 and 130 and 140. That's not a problem because we got an example in Blair Cobbs.
I will say this, like you brought up the fact of, you know, which one would be what people tune into. Of course, people will tune into Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach due to the fact that Tank is a knockout artist, and, you know, Shakur from his previous, you know, fights have not been looking too good and complain. But let's just give Shakur a little credit for at least picking a 135 pounder. Tank has been known to continuously do this, having people come up to his weight class. And if you've been watching boxing for a long time, when fighters come up in weight, they lose something. You're going to be a little slower. You're going to probably lose a little power because your shots don't affect bigger men like that.
Okay. I'll give you that point. I'll give you that. So, we'll check that off.
He constantly does this every time it's time to fight somebody.
Okay, so we'll check that off in that box. Okay, so when I look at it like this, and I'm going to bring history into it, right? Marquez versus Floyd.
Yeah.
The general public, and we're only speaking for 2024 because public perception is reality in this boxing age. So when we looked at it back then, Marquez going up to fight Floyd, that was considered a great fight. That was, two solid champions doing their thing. Marquez is just coming off the Pacquiao knockout or whatever, or the second fight or whatever, and they go up to have a great fight. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had Rigondeaux versus.
One thing I understand about that fight. Now I don't agree with no fighter. I didn't like Floyd going to fight Marquez, just like they was on him about fighting Marquez. Why is you going to a small division fighting a guy? But Floyd made one statement that killed everything they said. He said, y'all want me to fight Pacquiao, and Pacquiao fought Marquez. But y'all coming and saying, I'm too big for Marquez, but I'm not too big for Manny Pacquiao. It didn't make sense.
Exactly. So that's why I bring up that example, because this is some of the back and forth that went in, but the general public generally said that was a great fight. Once the weigh-ins happened and, come to fight night, it's a great fight, blah, 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 blah. You feel what I'm saying? But when I look at what Lamont Roach said, he was like, my intentions was always to go up to 35. It just happened that, timing made it happen a little bit sooner with an opportunity.
I mean, you can say that his intentions were to go to 135, but you're not a 135 pounder. And this is basically really another cherry pick by Tank even picking a guy. All the fighters from one Tank, like you said a minute ago, is the face of boxing, the money man in his division. Ain't no way in the world that somebody would, if he would have offered them a contract, Ray Metallic, George Kambosos, hell, even Matias, Teofimo Lopez, that when nobody took.
That's most of those guys you're saying though are at 140. Most of the guys at 35 are not real 135 pounders. These guys really belong at 140, maybe even 147. When you really look at these guys and how they're shrinking themselves down to get down to 35, this is where I give Tank credit, because you're exposing all the weight bullies. If we have a problem with the weight bullies and guys not, trying to squeeze themselves down into that weight, so when they rehydrate, they have that advantage.
This something I gotta say too about this weight bullying, because I be seeing a lot of Tank fans making clips and stuff saying about the fact that Tank saying that these guys are coming in too big. We're gonna go back to Floyd.
Yes.
How many fighters Floyd came in way heavier on Floyd and Floyd still beat him?
You had, well, the biggest one you got is Canelo. We'll
use
him as the example.
Did he do a rehydration clause?
Did he do a rehydration clause on
against Canelo Alvarez? No.
No, not that I remember. No.
Why? Because skills pay the bills. So Tank they trying to use that as a way of saying, oh, Tank is after the weight bullets. He putting them on blast. But at the end of the day, Tank must not be as confident as Floyd Mayweather was, because Floyd Mayweather, it didn't matter about weight. Floyd Mayweather went up from 147 and went and fought Oscar De La Hoya. When Oscar De La Hoya probably came in bigger than Floyd that night. It didn't matter to Floyd because skills pay the bills. So why is it that Gervonta Tank Davis should get away with it?
Just waiting for the ambulance to go by.
Okay. Why is it that Gervonta Tank Davis should get away with it? Rehydration clause. He put Mario Barrios under rehydration clause. He put Ryan Garcia under rehydration clause. But if you so good and better and confident of a fighter, why you have to do that? Why you have to do it?
Now this is where I believe what's the name had a bullshit. I believe De La Hoya put some sort of clause on Floyd when they fought. I don't remember what it was in that negotiation, but it was some sort of fuckery that he did to that.
He put Floyd through hell, picked his gloves and everything.
Yeah. I knew it was something. Now, what I will say is this: I'm not a huge fan of the rehydration clauses and everything, but if the commissions now are starting to move in that direction, you feel what I'm saying? Because okay, for a guy to come in and push the limit or go from rehydrate 25, 30 pounds, 28 pounds heavier than the other guy, is that a form of cheating, or is it just something that is unethical? Just like puncher's gloves. Gloves, are they considered cheating or unethical?
This is the same thing with Tank. Tank went up and fought Mario Barrios at 140 for a title.
Yes.
So why did you have to go to a catch weight of 130 something against Ryan Garcia, who's a 140 pounder, but you already been to 140 and fought? See, they try to go through so many ways to help Tank, but then when you look at the actual facts, Tank literally goes out there and he makes his opponents either come up from a lower weight class, or he gets an advantage on them. And then they go around saying that Tank is just the baddest man on the planet. But how? Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that, because I think he's an excellent talent.
Leo Santa
the baddest man on the planet? Hell no.
Leo Santa Cruz had to come up and fight him from a lower weight class. Leo. Every fight he can get, it's either he has to have some type of advantage. But then you hear Calvin Ford say, oh, we're just trying to, we waiting on somebody to push Tank. Tank got a lot of stuff that he ain't even showed the public yet. Well, when are we going to get the fight so we can see it? When are we going to get the fight so we can see it? Because these fighters that they picking and choosing are not going to push them to that level for us to see it. And like Teofimo Sr. said, Tank Davis hates pure boxers. He won't fight Devin. Devin just came off the loss. This is the time right now to go at Devin Haney. He could easily get him a 140-pound belt if he believed he can beat Devin Haney. If you really shook Devin Haney and knocked Devin Haney out in that sparring, like you say you did, why not jump on Devin Haney right now when his confidence is down, when he's coming after a loss? The whole world seen him get dropped, couldn't even come jump up on the ropes. But then you go and pick a Lamont Roach Jr.? Come on, man.
But I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. I really like the Lamont Roach fight. I want to see where these guys progress from their fights in the amateur. I'm just excited to see the fight.
Can I ask you why you're excited to see what about this fight brings you excitement to see him fight someone from 130? What brings you excitement about this fight?
What brings me excitement is when I look at Roach, right? Lamont Roach looks like a guy, just based on his last fight, when on fight night and everything, he looked like he was, he could easily be a 140 pounder. You feel what I'm saying? Easily be a 140 pounder.
But is he?
Is he a 140 pounder naturally? Yeah. I believe so. I still think he's squeezing down. I think he's squeezing down to fit 130.
Not actually. I'm saying what weight does he fight at?
He fights at 130.
Okay.
That's what he said he wanted to campaign at, but he's like, listen, I'm still looking towards going up to 135 and possibly 140. And I have to take that man for what he said on his most recent interview and stuff like that. So what excites me about this is, all right, you guys do have a history. When you guys fought in the amateurs, all the times you met, they were close fights and things like that. Where are you guys right now? You said that he's cool with you. There was never any beef. Y'all be in the same places and things like that. And he was like, yeah, this wasn't the first time my name was in the mix for a Tank fight, but now everything is making sense. I got a belt, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, so if you're talking about going up to 35. All right. Yeah. Sometimes timing is everything. And if timing tells you got to do it.
Timing and all that. Do you think Lamont Roach can beat Gervonta Tank Davis?
Do I think? See, I'm a person who a lot of times goes for the underdog.
Okay, go for the underdog.
I think he can outbox him. Do I think he can stop
Lamont Roach?
Some weird ass Tank whisperers would be like whatever.
You think Lamont Roach can outbox Tank, really?
I think he can. I think he can. In certain areas, he can do well. He's not like a lot of these other guys, and he could easily outbox him. I'm not saying it's going to be a unanimous decision. It could be it's definitely going to be a split decision. It's not going to be a majority. I'm just being a fan of the sport, bro. The dude's a champ. He could crack.
He's a champ at 130 that has really fought nobody with a real name besides the guy that Tank beat up. Come on, bro. He gonna outbox Tank,
bro. Really? I'm saying this. I didn't say he was. I said he could. When there's always in a boxing match, anything can go wrong. What if Tank fucks his hand up again by hitting Lamont Roach on the wrong or on a bad part of his head? Now he got to fight Lamont Roach like he did Pitbull Cruz. If he fights, if something like that should happen, Lamont Roach wins that fight because he's a much better boxer than Pitbull Cruz. He has better ring IQ.
If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Yeah, and that's the thing with boxing. It hasn't happened.
That's a 1 in a million chance for Tank to hurt his hand during that fight. And even then, if he hurt his hand, if Lamont Roach was to win from him getting his hand hurt, that wouldn't be a legitimate win.
Okay, so would it have been a legitimate win at Pitbull Cruz would have beat Tank?
Would have been a legitimate? No, it wouldn't, because Tank hand was hurt the entire fight.
So why? so you hurt your hand in the fight. Those are
No,
circumstances
Tank hurt his
that won't get the fight stopped unless you stop it. So we got to take away Daniel Dubois first joint because he fucked
no,
up his eye orbital. So
no.
we can,
We talking about Tank. We
yeah.
talking about the situation of Tank.
I'm just bringing up examples of
Tank
fights.
hurt his hand before he even fought Isaac Cruz in training, and he still went out there. If Tank would have had two hands, he would have beat the hell out of Isaac Cruz. So there was no need for no rematch. There was no need for a rematch. That's why when they even speak of a rematch between Tank and Isaac Cruz, it make me want to throw up because it's nothing but them doing the same thing they have been doing with Tank's career. It's the same thing. Whenever it's time for Tank to fight a legitimate fighter who a pure boxer who has a legitimate chance of beating Tank, we always hear about the business side of boxing. We always hear about this person negotiated too high. This person did this. Whenever it's somebody who got the same intelligence and IQ that could possibly beat Tank, the fight can never be made. But when it's a Lamont Roach, here we are. Here we are. When it's a Frank Martin with no experience, here we are. When it's a Leo Santa Cruz coming up in weight, here we are. When it's a Ryan Garcia getting put on a catch weight and rehydration clause, here we are. When it's a what's the guy name at 147? Mario Barrios rehydration clause, here we are. But when it's time for a legitimate fight, it's always a problem with you.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. At the end of the day, all of those examples, those guys signed the contract. They knew what they were getting into. Whether or not they thought they could win the fight or not, they signed the contract and knew what they were getting into. As a fan, once the contract is signed and you guys may wait, all of that type of stuff is irrelevant to a fan like me. I'm only about the fight. What's gonna happen inside the ring?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be irrelevant to a fan. Like if you're a real, and not saying that you are.
No, I get what you're saying.
If you're a real boxing fan, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching it since I was 8, bro. The best have to fight the best, just like they did in the 80s with Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. What's the other guy named Marvin Hagler? These guys went out there and challenged themselves to see who was the best. This is not Lamont Roach is not even in the top guys that we want to see Tank fight. Who is Lamont Roach? I just had to go and search and look at his highlights to even find out. To look at his box rec, he ain't fought nobody. The only person he has fought is Hector Luis Garcia that we know of. That's it. You mean to tell me all the fighters at 135, the fight you could even went up to 140 and pick the fight at 140 just for the challenge, just for the amusement of the fans, and you wouldn't have picked a 130-pound champion?
Okay, so we got Zepeda. Zepeda's out because he's just got a baby, and then he tried to get the fight with Shakur just the following next month. They move on, and now that fight he's scheduled to fight Tevin Farmer. Moratala is wrapped up. Bernacek over there that's got a belt. Bernacek is probably being lined up for Keyshawn or Abdullah Mason, right?
But
Shakur is doing something. Shakur is out because he took the weirdest timing in the world to go get hand surgery.
Okay,
a fight. I'm just going down to
all
the facts of where.
What about Ray McCallum?
Mixed up.
What about a George Kambosos? What about a Tevin Farmer? What about all these guys?
Tevin Farmer's fighting Zepeda. They already lined up for that.
You think that he wouldn't step out to fight Tank for a big pay? Tank is the highest payday at 135.
Well, I wanted to see the Tank versus Farmer fight when both them niggas was down at 26. When it made the most sense.
Yeah, but that was that time. But we talking about today. We talking about Why is Tank Davis fighting Lamont Roach right now when he's supposed to be the highest paid fighter at 135, and you
Because
after Lamont Roach?
I'm gonna quote Bob on this. These guys just don't want to fight him. If the guys don't want to fight, what do you want me to do? They don't want to fight.
Don't nobody want to fight the highest paid box. It's supposed to, they'll fight Tank, even if they was coming to lose. Frank Martin did it.
Frank Martin did, but is some of these other guys a dog like we a dog or got dog in them like we say certain fighters do. Certain fighters are trying to protect their O as much as they can until they eventually get that O taken. I want to stretch my shit out as long as possible before I do this, and then it comes down to the other dynamic. Everyone claiming that the fight needs to marinate. So if certain fights need to marinate and they can't happen right now because they need to marinate, then it's all of these weird things of when people say it shouldn't happen. Why is this happening?
We ain't cooking steak. We ain't cooking steak.
I know that's my point. This is a fight.
As a real fight fan, I don't want to see nothing marinate. I want to see them right now in their prime. I want to see them right now at their best. I don't want to wait 4 or 5 years to see the best fight the best. It shouldn't be like that. That's that business talking. As boxing fans, we are not business people. We want to see the best fight the best. This is the same reason why Tank won't go into holler at the Turk. Because he know the Turk going to tell him, hey, if you want this money right here, if you want this overseas money, you're going to have to fight somebody to come over here and get this money. See, that's why every time they tell me, why you don't holler at His Excellency? Why you don't talk? Oh, I don't want to deal with them. They're going to have to send me 2 Lambos in front of my house in order for what they got to send you 2 Lambos in front of your house for you to fight somebody with a heartbeat.
But for me, there was no reason where I can legitimately say why a guy turns down a $20 million guarantee.
Who was that?
Tank. He turned down a $20 million guarantee to fight Devin Haney. Then they came at him from the $20 million. He says, "Give me 2 Lambos." That's where that statement came from.
What that sound like? Ducking, right?
Yeah, I don't give him a pass on that. This is a guy that he said he hurt in sparring, which it came out, and the truth came out that Devin Haney and his dad left away with the money. But you get a $20 million offer, more than you ever been paid, and you still won't get in the ring with Devin Haney. Yeah, I don't listen. When you listen to the Tank whisperers, they'll tell you all the excuses of Tank know his worth. Why would he do that when he just made 30 or 40? No, that was the total cost, if that's even true, of what he made off the Ryan Garcia fight. That's a $20 million guarantee. Tell me when Tank has made $20 million as a guarantee anywhere in his past.
From what I understand, he ain't. He ain't in his pocket like that. Yeah. He got way more money than me. I ain't in his pocket like that. But why not, if you made 30, come on, let's put 20 more behind it for a guy that you say you can knock out easy.
Yeah. So these are my issues with Tank. These are my issues with boxing. But I just decided to say, you know what? I see what the promoters are doing. I see what this game is doing. They want us fans to go at each other and be bickering and arguing over this while they keep feeding us bullshit of fights that we didn't ask for. We're asking for this, but you're giving us this and telling us we got to pay $90 for that. But the ones we would be willing to pay $90, $100, even $110 for,
we can't get.
You won't get us those fights because number one, you telling us this guy don't want to do it for less than this kind of money, and then he got his weird ass manager who wants to either be a thug, a fucking mobster, or whatever.
Shakur Stevenson won't sign a contract if they send it to him for Tank. Let's just say Shakur Stevenson the hand injury never happened. If it was a legitimate good contract, you think Shakur Stevenson won't step in the ring with Tank?
Do I think so?
I'm saying if they sent Tank, if Tank them sent Shakur a contract, and it was $3 million, $4 million guaranteed, you think Shakur wouldn't sign that contract to
No,
fight Tank? They be lying.
no,
Him,
I don't think
they be
Shakur would.
lying.
I don't think Shakur would take that contract because here's the issue. There's someone involved with Shakur Stevenson that every time it comes down to some of these big ass fights, this guy, rightfully so, is trying to get him more money than what Shakur Stevens market is worth. So
What if that's true, and somebody just posted that Shakur Stevens said he wanted $8 million. Shakur needs a new. See, this is something that's going wrong with the sport of boxing. Nobody want to crawl for their walk. See,
and that's the problem. That's why I said he wouldn't have took that fall.
In order to be the top, the HNIC, the head honcho, everybody want to follow Floyd's blueprint. Well, really follow his blueprint, because for Floyd to become the superstar that he became, he had to go and fight Oscar De La Hoya. Well, Oscar De La Hoya, he said himself, treated him like he was a nobody in negotiations. Floyd said the team disrespected his team. They never did anything good towards Floyd while the fight was happening. He picked Floyd gloves, everything in that fight. Floyd had to be at the bottom to go to the top. But now, with these young fighters now, y'all want to come out there and say, oh, I want this and I want that. That ain't how it works. Just the same thing with Jerron Ennis and his what's the boy Brian Norman Jr. situation. His daddy dropped the bag. His daddy dropped the bag. Don't worry about what Boots getting. You got a chance for your son to be 23 years old, a champion, and unified at 147, and you worried about how much money Boots make. See, when Floyd took the fight with Oscar, he knew Oscar was going to get more than him because why? Oscar was the man. Oscar was supposed to get more money than him. But Floyd said, you know what? I'm going to go through everything I got to go through in order for me to come out and be the superstar in boxing, to beat Oscar De La Hoya. Why they can't do it?
This is where I have issues with fighters coming out saying this guy is easy. He's the easiest opponent. Watch how easy I beat his ass. And then there's a real offer on the table for you to fight the dude, and you take it straight to you. The minute you find out what's going on, you take it to social media. Whenever a fighter, to me, takes negotiations to social media, that tells me you ain't seriously trying to fight this guy.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm finna put the link back up. I thank you for your time. I'm finna
Yeah, for sure, bro.
I appreciate your, comments on the fight. And thank you for coming on, my brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this is every time you turn around, it's this is a keep going fight for Tank. We don't care if it's a keep going fight for Tank. If it's a keep going fight, let it be one with somebody who's a challenge. Let us see these bags of tricks that Tank got, or like Kevin Ford say, ain't nobody pushed him to the limit. Well, pick somebody gonna push him to the limit, Kevin. Y'all do the same protocol every time. It's time. Oh, they were sparred together. They had sparring wars together. Oh, they fought the same opponent before. So we don't care about that. We don't care. We ain't behind the scenes. We ain't getting no check. We ain't getting paid for what Tank out there doing. No, we want to see him fight the best. Roller Romando. He fought Rolling on pay-per-view. 14-0 Rolling. Dude just a jiu-jitsu fighter who started boxing late. He fought Rolling. Y'all paid $90. Come on, let's keep going. Get out of my way on this screen. Isaac Cruz. Somebody we didn't even know who was boxing. Did nobody know about no Isaac Cruz? You would be a lie if you sit up here and you say that Isaac Cruz, you knew who Isaac Cruz was before Tank fought him. You would be lying. Mario Barrios, rehydration clause. Somebody who was willing to sell his belt anyway because he couldn't stay at 140. So what better than a big payday from Tank Davis, and I get off this belt. Leo Santa Cruz, coming up from what, 130, former 126 pounder. Tank fought him. Eurykis Gamboa, 40-year-old, 38-year-old Gamboa, who I think, if I ain't mistaken, Devin Haney. Now I think Tank beat him first. Tank went 12 rounds. And watch this. He went 12 rounds with an experienced fighter, older fighter with IQ. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? He went 12 rounds with an old Gamboa. Why? Because Gamboa actually has fighting IQ. So this is why Gervonta Tank Davis and his team won't put him in the ring with somebody in their prime who got IQ, who got the same amount of boxing knowledge that Tank has, who been boxing since they were 7, 8, 6 years old. Just look at his resume. It tells you everything. Just look at his resume. It tells everything to the story of Gervonta Tank Davis. Whenever it's time to fight a fighter who's been in the sport of boxing since they were a child, which means they have the same amount of knowledge, they have the same amount of IQ, same amount of skill set, we can't get the fight. We can't get the fight. But when it's somebody coming up in weight, when it's somebody who inexperienced, the fight made. This trash. I don't care how people try to put it. This fight is trash. You should not pay no $90 to see Tank do nothing. Don't waste your time. Rebel Life Boxing. I like that comment you just said. Kid Austin. He could have fought Kid Austin. He was just arguing with Kid Austin and his daddy. Keyshawn Davis. Andy Cruz. Anybody at 135, but you gonna pick a 130 pound and y'all cool with it? Y'all cute, y'all cool with it? See, this is a comment from somebody who a fanboy and don't know boxing. Keyshawn Davis, hell, Abdullah Mason, Cambosis, Andy Cruz, William Zapata, Ray Mortella, Tevin Farmer. All these dudes, and you pick a 130. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me send a link up. Somebody else come on so we can talk, man. Let me put the link back up here. Somebody else come on the channel so we can talk, man. I want to hear all opinions. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're a Tank fan or not, justify to me and the public why y'all should pay $90 for this fight. Roach a champ at 130. He's a champ at 130. That's what y'all not mentioning. He's a champ at 130. None of them guys haven't done nothing. Lamont Roach ain't done nothing at 135 either. So what are you saying? You see what I'm saying? Y'all do anything to justify him selling y'all these bad fights. Hey, Tank fans cool with it because they know Tank. They said no one wants to fight Tank and he had no choice. That's a lie. That's a lie. There's always a choice. When you making the money Tank make and you can pay a fighter their biggest payday, you can choose somebody to fight. Even if they coming in, even if they ain't got enough time to train. We done seen it for years in boxing. We done seen it in a year for boxing. If it would have been Mike Tyson, Terrence Crawford, Tyson Fury, if they picked the guy and said, hey, you getting the highest payday of your life, they'll start training that night. Ain't no way out of 135 and 140, he couldn't have found nobody to fight, bro. It's a lie. It's a lie. They would have got their biggest payday yet fighting Tank, and you mean to tell me ain't nobody say, hey, I'll do it. I'll do it. It ain't no different than your job. If your job came in and said, hey, whoever work overtime tonight, we're gonna pay you $14 extra. Guess how many people ain't gonna get raised? They probably ain't had no sleep coming to work. If you stay over tonight, we're gonna give you $20 an hour. I'll do it. It's the same thing. Cut it out. Cut it out. Let me welcome Rocco on to the panel. Rocco, what's up with you, my brother?
Yo, what's going on? Easy work boxing. Yeah, been following you for a while.
What's up with
And yeah, everything is good, man. I just wanted to point out, you know what I'm saying, about, with Tank. Tank, he pretty much copying the blueprint of what your boy Mayweather was doing. You know what I'm saying? The same thing he doing with Mayweather, pretty much with Marquez. Marquez is at super featherweight, but he really came from featherweight to jump up to welterweight to fight Mayweather with no tune-up fight, and Mayweather cheated the scales, and that's the first time in boxing history that the fight was canceled, and you paid a fine for going over for pounds. You know what I'm saying? Before that, when you could cheat on the scales and go over on weight, the fight was canceled automatically. Cold turkey.
True, even Floyd did his thing by, picking certain fighters. But then we have to remember that Floyd fought Gennaro Hernandez when he was 17-0, Angel Manfredi, Diego Corrales. It was a list of fighters with names at least Floyd at least stepped to in his young version of his career. And then he went on to fight the greats later on. Tank ain't even doing that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got a point. Yeah. But the idea and the whole point of where he get that from is from Mayweather, because Mayweather is the first cat to actually do the shit that he did in boxing. Because before, like for instance, before Mayweather, you ain't never hear nobody talk about not fighting the cat because they got a different promoter. And that's when he was going through the duck and Pacquiao before Pacquiao got put to sleep and he couldn't say take the test no more. You know what I'm saying? So you got this different promoter. But if you think about before, my man Money Mayweather, no boxer has ever not take a fight or made the excuse that they was on, you know what I'm saying, with a different promoter, except with Mayweather. And, you got cats going through with that and saying that now. You know what I'm saying? When Mayweather started that. So he pretty much pioneered a lot of stuff what cats are doing, like what Tank and Canelo Alvarez, etc. You know what I'm saying? So he pretty much changed the game with cats. So my whole point is that's where Tank pretty much got it from. And that's where when you hear other cats talking about, yo, he's with a different promoter, da-da-da. They got that from Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? When before Mayweather, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember a time in boxing before Mayweather that a cat said, I'm not going to take the fight because he's with a different promoter?
Yeah, Floyd, you correct. Floyd, they were saying, at times he was like, I don't want to deal with this with Bob Arum. Bob Arum still owe me money. And that was when he was adjusted certain fight. Bob
However,
owed
he
me.
said he was.
He said,
Okay,
Bob
said he
still owed me millions. Bob owed me millions from this fight, that fight. Basically,
Right. However, he said he wasn't going to do business with Bob Arum, but when Marquez bailed him out and put Pacquiao to sleep, that's when he did business with Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? So this whole thing, you know what I'm saying, with cats picking fights. But I see what you're saying, because even with the performance, with him not fighting Devin Haney, Mayweather, if he saw you coming off a loss, especially a knockout loss, he's definitely going to fight you. But being that Tank still staying away from Devin Haney after he got mopped by Ryan Garcia, Tank is pretty much Mayweather as far as like the
you're right. See, this is how I knew that Tank wasn't. This is how I knew that Tank wasn't gonna really do nothing in the sport of boxing. When Devin Haney was undisputed,
What's that?
that was supposed to have been the first fight he went out.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna have to let you go, bro. Your background, that win or something is.
Okay. Okay.
I appreciate you coming on.
I'm actually, yeah, thank you for having me, man. I'm on the highway. Pardon me.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, man. Thank you, man. All the best to you. And all the best to you. Word.
I
Peace.
appreciate. Yeah, I knew Tank wasn't gonna do much in the sport of boxing when when Devin Haney became undisputed. He didn't even go after Devin. You had 4 belts right there lined up. You supposed to be the young upcoming Floyd Mayweather. You got everybody behind. You got Al Heyman. They could have made that fight happen. You could have been undisputed, but you know why he didn't fight him? Because Devin can actually box. Devin been boxing since he was a child too, just like Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez, and they didn't want to make the fight because there's a chance that Tank would lose. There's a chance that Tank would lose. It's no different than when Devin Haney was going behind the scenes trying to help Kambosos so he can beat Teofimo Lopez, because Devin Haney didn't really want to fight Teofimo Lopez. Devin didn't want to fight Teofimo Lopez, but they're willing to fight him now since they want to bring their name back into the lights. You see what I'm saying? But he was going behind the scenes telling all Teofimo Lopez business to Kambosos because he wanted Kambosos to get them titles. Because he knew that Kambosos was a more easy victory for him than it would be for him to fight Teofimo Lopez. And so how was he going to fight Devin after he was undisputed? Devin had a 3-fight deal. He had a fight with Kambosos. I'm talking about after the second fight. Whether he had a 3-fight deal or not. See, these the excuses that the fans out here give him. Whether he had a 3-fight deal or not. After he fought Kambosos, after he had that next fight, why didn't Tank go and challenge him for them belts? Why? Rebel, what's up with you? Rebel, you on the channel? Rebel? Hello, Rebel. I guess something wrong. Yeah, but why he ain't gonna challenge him then? Why? Because Loma was on the contract for the 3rd fight. Okay, after Loma. Why he ain't challenge him after the Loma fight? Like Devin Haney said, everybody talk their talk, but the only thing they don't say is let's fight. Why he ain't fight him then? You could have been undisputed if you would have fought. He ran. We ain't talking about what Devin did. Devin ran because of Shakur Stevenson. That's why Devin ran, because of Shakur Stevenson. We ain't talking about what Tank didn't challenge him. Tank never challenged him. All we keep hearing about is Tank got this list of fighters that he gonna fight that we don't get to see. Rebel, what's up with you?
What's going on?
What's up with you, my brother?
It's all good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you well. What's your opinion on the take of Tank Davis being a cherry picker and this a fight don't nobody need to pay for?
Man, I think they just running him like he an entertainer, man, instead of a boxer. You know, they just trying to keep the money up. You know, they ain't trying to take no big risks and mess up the bag. You know, but because they know the majority of his fans, they just paying to see him knock somebody out, man. You know?
Yeah. And that's
straight up.
That's the problem with the sport of boxing right now. We got a lot of casuals in here who just want to see, they don't want to see the real deal fights. They just want to see their favorite fighter continue to win. And it's not that we want to see Tank lose. We just want to see real good boxing matches if you're a real fight fan.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question. Hey, I'm hearing the echo. It's like the video playing under me talking. Is it a way to turn that off where I'm just can hear it in real time instead of that lag?
Are you watching like on a computer and you talking or something like that? You can turn the volume. I can't really say, but I don't hear the echo.
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Okay, it's
like a 10-second lag or something.
Yeah, you probably might be watching from 2 different things or something. You probably have to turn one off, but yeah, this fight sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's messing me up. I'm trying to. Let me see. How can I pause it, man?
Nobody should pay $90 to see this fight. This fight should be free. It should be free.
Yeah, but that's all they doing though, man. They just there's too much money involved in that, man. They ain't trying to risk that guy getting knocked out or nothing, man. They gonna run their bag up and they gonna retire that kid, man.
Yeah, he 30 fights in, bro. Never unified, he ain't never been even unified, man. That should tell you. That's just like Floyd Mayweather, 50, never undisputed.
Yeah, but when you think about it, just think about it like this. Never fought Devin, never unified, never this. And they look at all the money in the bag though. You feel me? They done figured it out. Like they don't need all the accolades. Like Ellerby said, man, it's about the bread. When they leave the game, they gonna take that bag, man.
But the accolades is what make you great. See, even Canelo Alvarez, even though he doing what he doing right now, even Canelo Alvarez knew he had to be undisputed. Canelo Alvarez went on to become undisputed. One of the biggest accomplishments in boxing. Floyd didn't do it. Let me put it to you like this. If you 50-0, man, you fought 50 fighters and you have never been undisputed, that means you are literally going around picking fighters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How you got 50 fights and you ain't never been undisputed? Ever? Tank is doing the same
entertainers.
Tank is doing the same thing, but entertainers are not they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Entertainers shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. It's boxing. This ain't tap dance.
Yeah, they probably ain't worried about it. They,
I know the money.
They're trying to get that bread, man.
At the end of the day, the money is what's most important. Like Floyd always use and say, "Oh, me going out there and doing these and that fight ain't gonna pay my hospital bills." That's a good excuse, Floyd. Yeah, and you done talk Tank the same thing.
Yeah, it's a formula, bro. I mean, it's a lot of fighters out there, that's doing it the right way, but they ain't making no money, man. And they gonna finish the game, and they gonna, they ain't gonna have no money, bro. They gonna have the accolades, but no money. But when they start signing them big contracts, man, for the years and years, man, for him to go out there and get knocked out, bro, it ain't good business. You feel me?
The sport
it's a lot of money on the line. It's a lot of money on the line, and it's a sport. And the fans, we love to see the sport of it. But behind that sport, man, it's a big chunk of the pie called a business of it. And these dudes signing $100 million deals and $200 million deals. They ain't gonna let them go out there and get knocked out and mess that bag up.
The best is supposed to fight the best. I understand the bag. It's called prize fighting. They fighting to survive, to pay their bills for their family. We all understand that. But the whole point of boxing is to be an all-time great. And this is not being great what Tank Davis is doing. It's not being great. Never even unified, bro. Ain't never wore 2 belts at one time.
But he made all that. But he made all that bread though. So they like, what would you take? Would you take the accolades or the bread? If it was up to you, and they said we'll give you all the accolades, but we ain't gonna give you the bread, or
accolades and the bread. Like every other fighter did, Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson, and many more, the accolades and the bread. Evander Holyfield and many others. Whether they got it right now today or not, they took the money and got the accolades. Why has it changed? Why belts don't matter no more now? Like Devin Haney said, everybody who say belts don't matter no more ain't got none.
Yeah. I hear you. I'm a fan of the game, man. I like to see the tough fights. But at the end of the day, in this real world, they in the concrete jungle. And I know ain't none of them trying to go back to the concrete jungle, man. So they gonna manage their careers. They're gonna manage their careers in a way where they ain't getting their head knocked off and becoming memes and fumbling that bag, man. They're gonna be the one knocking people's head off and listening to people argue about them cherry picking rather than listening to people laughing at them for getting their head knocked off for taking a risk. You know, we watched quite a few boxers take risks, and man, they don't. These ain't real fans, man. They don't even give you your props, man. You take a risk, you go in there, like you said, man, risking your life, and you get beat. Man, they don't give you no props, man. They talk bad about you. All these shows and stuff, I be listening. They don't got no respect for these athletes no more, man. So it's like they didn't tarnish the game so bad. It's like a money grab, you know.
I mean, I can understand that, you know what I'm saying, but what the fans, real hardcore fans, if I see Tank go out there and lose to a Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez, I'm gonna be the first person on here saying, thank you, Tank. Thank you. Win, lose, or draw, you challenged and you gave the public what they wanted. You challenged yourself. If I see Tank going loose in a unification fight, thank you, Tank Davis. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the casual fans who are coming in and just don't understand what the sport is. Undisputed is the biggest accomplishment in boxing, not being pound for pound. I don't know what it started from, what pound for pound is the biggest accomplishment. No, it's not. Undisputed, which means you went and fought the 3 other kings in your division and you came out victorious like a Super 6 series. You challenged yourself and fought everybody in your division, and now you got all the titles. You are the man. That's the greatness of boxing.
That's the way it's supposed to be. But even look at what happened to E. You feel me? You know, he challenged himself, and you know, unfortunately, he didn't come out on top, man. And it just was he was getting the bag, bro. That was a big bag, man. There was a lot of people eating off that bag, man, and took that challenge, man, and it didn't work out. You know, it didn't work out the way they probably envisioned it, and I think they probably advised them don't do it. You know what I mean? And look how that turned out. And even to this day, people don't give him no props. You know what I mean? They talk bad about the guy, you know, and, you know, did memes on him and putting all them pictures up of him. You know, it's one of his worst moments in the ring. You know, they don't even talk about the good stuff he did no more. So it's just a risk. You know, and I'm an investor in the real life, you know what I mean? And you really got to manage your risks, man, because if you take the wrong risk, bro, it'll ruin the bag, bro.
People who don't even have the balls to get in the ring and do what you did. But let me welcome Leon on to the channel. Leon, what's up?
What's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit. You kind of low though.
I'm low. Can you hear me any better?
Okay, I hear you better now.
I see if Leon can hear that echo in the background when you talk. Can Leo hear the echo?
I don't. Not when I talk. I don't hear myself. No. I'm on my phone though, man. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not on a laptop.
Okay, Leo. I see you come in. What's your opinion on the fight? You think this is a good fight?
I don't have an issue with the fight. I don't think it's a bullshit fight. I think it's a fight. I know you guys. I'm from DC, man. So these guys are more so local guys. So maybe it's more so for this area that it's you know, a bigger fight. I just, man, the complaining, the things that y'all say, man, I just really don't agree with, man. Like you know, even down to the Floyd stuff. Floyd never been undisputed. That's politics of boxing, man. That stuff happens.
No, I don't know politics of boxing. Then why other fighters have?
Well, I mean, okay, when Floyd fought Baltimore was undisputed right before Floyd fought him. The IBF stripped him of his IBF belt. So when
that
Floyd
don't mean he's undisputed.
No, this is what I'm saying. He was stripped of his IBF belt right before he fought Floyd. Floyd would have been undisputed.
Well, Floyd,
because due to the politics, he wasn't. But that's not the most important thing in boxing, man.
Floyd after who got the IBF belt after they stripped him, then he would have been undisputed.
But I mean, that's chasing. After you accomplish or get belts, man, you get belts. The boxers get belts for money. So this is prize fighting, man. This not the belts and all the accomplishments and all that stuff. That's for y'all. That's for the
prize fighting as a legitimate reason on not being undisputed.
Say it again.
We can't use prize fighting as a legitimate reason for not being undisputed.
But it's not. It's not the end all be all of fighting. All
fighters are prize fighters, and yet they were still undisputed. Correct?
Yeah, but it's not. But you're saying there are guys that have been undisputed that's not even in the Hall of Fame. So it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest accomplishment in boxing.
What are those fights? Name a fighter that was undisputed that's not in the boxing hall.
What's my man? I can't come up. What's my man name from St. Louis that beat Bernard Hopkins? God, that middleweight. He was undisputed. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Somebody, Jermaine Taylor.
Who?
Jermaine Taylor.
Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor was undisputed. He's not a Hall of Famer.
He will be.
Hey, who? But he hasn't been boxing in 10 years, bro. He's not. Who says who?
And whether he goes to the Hall of Fame or not, he was undisputed.
You just said that undisputed is the most important thing in boxing. That's what you just said. Why is he a Hall of Fame?
Whether he's a Hall of Fame or not, ain't you speaking his name?
Bruh, I just asked. You just said to me and to everybody that's listening that undisputed is the most important accomplishment in boxing. This guy, he accomplished that. He's not a Hall of Famer. And he beat Hall of Famers. He's not a Hall of Famer.
But what's to say he won't be inducted into it?
But he's what I'm saying. We're talking today, right now. He's not a Hall of Famer.
There's a lot of fighters that's not in the Hall of Fame right now.
That was undisputed, right?
I don't know if that was undisputed, but it's a lot of fighters that's not in the Hall of Fame right now.
It's not the most important thing. The most important thing
what is?
What is on par or just as important is lineal. Lineal is more important than undisputed. Lineal is you're the man of that division. When you become lineal champion, lineal. Floyd was lineal champion in every division.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Lineal champion, yes sir. Yes sir. Yes, I believe that. Yeah, but me personally, I don't think y'all like Tank. So anything Tank does, you're gonna complain about.
You saying that
lineal
Lopez is a two-time lineal champion, never undisputed, and he crying right now and wondering why he can't get paid. And you
because he was undisputed. Y'all take that away from him. Teofimo Lopez
has never been undisputed.
He was undisputed.
Devin Haney had the real WBC title. That's why Devin Haney became undisputed. At that time, Teofimo had the super belt, which was not legitimate.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you call Tank's championship a Reggie belt? Is he a Reggie champion?
You talking about the super belt that he has right now?
No. He don't have the super belt. He's the WBA world champion. He's not the super champion. Tank is not super champion. Tank right now is the WBA. Champion. He's not the super champion. Look it up right now. You can look it up. He's not the super champion. He's the WBA world champion. He's not the super champion.
The belt that he got was the super belt.
No, he did not. He did not. No, look it up, champ. I bet you $100 right now. $100.
You give me $100.
I give you $100 if he's the WBA super champion. Will you give me $100 if he's not?
Tank got the super WBA belt because he said he didn't want it. Tank was the regular WBA champion at first.
There is no such thing as a regular. He's the world champion, bro.
Tank was the regular WBA champion. They elevated Tank to the super champion, which is the legitimate belt at 135 right now. You owe me $100.
Show me. Put it on the screen.
Everybody who watching right now, wasn't Tank the regular? Hold on. Everybody who watching right now, wasn't Tank the regular WBA champ, and then they elevated him to super, which is the legitimate higher belt right now? Wasn't he elevated? Everybody who watching right now, let me know about that.
Why you asking them? All you got to do is go to WBA.com, the WBA, and look at their rankings. It's going to tell you what he is. Look it up. He's the world champion. He's not the super champion. He has the same belt he had that he beat Gamboa for.
No, it's not.
Bruh, look it up.
Tank, he didn't, bro, they just was talking about Tank. He didn't even want to be elevated to the super champion. He was the WBA regular champion.
He was never elevated, bruh.
Fans, I mean, people who watching, let them know. People who watching, let them know.
I can't see what they saying in the joint. But listen to what I'm telling you. He's the WBA champion, world champion right now. Tank has held that belt since he beat Gamboa in 2019. He has the same belt.
That was the regular belt. Look, up here goes. Can you see this on the screen right now? Can you see this right now?
I think you're not understanding what I'm saying to you, bro.
I'm understanding exactly what you're saying. Look at what he just posted up here. That's facts. Got elevated when Devin dropped the belt.
No,
Devin had the real super WBA belt. Tank got it when Devin dropped it.
Bruh, listen, bruh. Listen.
You owe me $100, bro. You owe me $100.
Can you listen?
You owe me $100.
I'm listening because you're not listening. Tank was never elevated to the super champion. If you go on their website right now, go to the website. Go to the website. Go to the website where the people rank. I ain't talking about the people that's chatting in your chat. I'm talking about the WBA. Tank Davis is the world champion. The WBA 135 world champion. That's what he is.
Super belt.
That's not the super belt. There is no such thing called the regular belt. That does not exist. Stop listening to these people on YouTube, bro.
Staniosis just had the WBA regular belt at 147 and got elevated to the super champ. What is you talking about? Staniosis just had the regular belt. Keith Thurman had the regular WBA belt and he got elevated when Floyd Mayweather wouldn't fight him.
He wasn't elevated, bro. Y'all keep saying he wasn't elevated, Holmes. He was the regular champion. He was not. You got me saying regular champion. He was the world champion. There is a super belt. But that ain't even what I come to argue with you about. I ain't come to talk to you about that. That's beside the point. You'll get it later. You'll understand it later.
I want my $100. You wrong.
Right. You're wrong.
You wrong. You bet me $100. Send $100. You wrong.
Homie, Holmes, you're wrong, homie. He's not the super champion. He's saying he's the super
WBA, the WBA created the WBA super belt when Floyd Mayweather ducked Keith Thurman. When Floyd Mayweather ducked Keith Thurman, they elevated Floyd to the super WBA champion.
Who is the super champion right now?
And Keith Thurman had the regular WBA belt. Staniosis had the regular WBA belt. When Terrence Crawford dropped it, he became the super WBA belt holder.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. you're totally wrong.
What
you're
are
totally
there super belts? Are there super belts in other weight classes? Are there super belts in other weight classes?
Yes, there are.
Why you saying that ain't WBA?
Hold on real quick. If you're telling me that Tank is the super champion at 135, who's the world champion? Or in your assumption, who's the Reggie champion right now?
He is the world champion. Tank is the world champion. But he was elevated.
He was not elevated, homie. He was not elevated. There is no super champion at 135 right now.
Tank is.
No, he's not. He's the world champion. He's not a super champion. He's a world champion, like he always was.
Listen to what I'm saying. Go back and look. Even Devin Haney was talking about this, about him saying that he had Gucci belts and stuff, fake belts. Devin Haney had the legitimate WBA title, which they called the super title. Tank had the regular WBA title. When Devin dropped his belts, they elevated Tank to super champion.
No, they did not, brother. They didn't. First and foremost, he said he didn't want to be the super champion. That's first and foremost. He never was elevated. That's second. Third of all, let me ask you a question. Was Devin Haney, and we can go back to this because I was just talking about this. Did you call Devin Haney a Reggie champion when he was the WBC champion? Did you call him a Reggie champion?
Because because Devin Haney had the legit Devin Haney, which is why he became undisputed. Devin Haney had the legitimate WBC title.
Devin Haney didn't, honest to God, for real, Devin Haney didn't become a champion until he beat Kambosos. He won all 4 belts.
It was for unification.
So tell me how this makes sense to you. How can you call Tank Davis a Reggie champion? A Reggie champion, a belt that he won in the ring. Hold on real quick. A belt that he won in the ring against Gamboa. He won that championship in the ring. Devin Haney was elevated from interim champion to champion.
Right? I'm on the website right now.
Let me
I'm on the website right now. Let me
welcome Michael to the channel. You said you wanted to hear it yourself. Let's welcome Michael to the channel. How you doing, brother? Say what you finna say, bro.
All right, so I'm on the website right now, and it says on the website, when you look up who holds the title, it says Tank is the WBA world champion, and right underneath it, it says that he got elevated to the super champion.
Thank you.
It says it underneath his picture. It says it underneath Tank's picture. If you go to the WBA website, it'll say across the banner, WBA World Champion and Tank Davis. Underneath it, it says that he was elevated to the Super Champion.
Can I get my $100, bro? Can I get my $100?
I wish I could send it to you like in an email or something, so you could put it on the screen or something. But that's what it says.
Can I get my $100? Don't get quiet.
I'm out here working and stuff. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate you, brother. I give him $100. Leo.
Hold on, Trent. Do me a favor.
Oh,
No, bro. Listen to me. Can you go to the website on yours and show it on the screen? Can you do that? Can you do that? And you
give me the website. What's the website?
Just put in WBA. Just go to WBA champions. You can type that in Google, and it should bring you to the website. There's drop boxes, and it'll take you to that division. And I want you to go to Super.
I got you. Watch this. I got you. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, turn.
Hold on. I'm finna show you. Share screen. Right here. Share. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm finna read it to you in case you can't see it.
Go to the website, bro. Don't go to Google. Go to the website. Go to the WBA website, not Google.
I'm finna go to that next, but I'm finna read you this.
I don't care what Google says.
Hold up. Gervonta Brian Davis, also known, nicknamed by Tank, is an American professional boxer. He has held the World Boxing Association WBA lightweight title since 2023, having previously held the regular version from 2019 to 2023. Now let's go to the WBA.
Go to it.
Come on, bro. You come on, bro.
Go to it.
So what I just
it don't say that on my side. It say world champion.
Well, you show me.
Okay. I can't share my screen to you, bro.
Yeah, you can't show your screen. Hold up. A WBA official site. I'm going on there now. Official site.
Go down.
So where I go find any names?
It's different. I got it on my phone. It should say rankings.
Champion. Hold on. Let me see. I'm on the official channel. I'm trying to official page. I'm trying to see where I can find Tank at on here.
Right? Yeah. It should show the that's ratings, champions. That's it right there.
They say championships.
International world champions. World champions. Go back over. Go back. Go to world champions. Right down in the middle. Right there. Now go to
lightweight. It just say world champion Gervonta Tank Davis.
Appreciate you. Now wait, you want me to send you my cash out? What you want?
Man, go ahead with that bullshit.
What you need?
Boy, go ahead with that bullshit.
No, hold on.
That's all it say. It say he is the WBA champion, but he's the super WBA.
Hold on. Go to super middleweight. Go to super middleweight. Go to super middleweight.
Go ahead with that shit.
Go to super middleweight and tell me what it say next to Canelo name. Tell me that. Super champion. And then go back down and show Tank again, where it just says world champion.
And look, this how I'm finna prove you wrong. David Morrell is what? David Morrell is the WBA regular champion. That's why he's up there.
Hold on, time out. Does it say?
Bro, go ahead, bro. You ain't a man of your word, bro. Go ahead, bro. You ain't a man of your word. You see this shit? He just proved himself even more wrong. They got Canelo Alvarez as super champion, world champion David Morrell. So either the way it go, you still wrong. Bro, go ahead with that shit. You don't want to pay them $100. Go ahead. Don't bet if you don't want to pay no money, bro. You wrong. The hell? Go ahead, bro. Pay me my $100, my nigga. Just pay me my $100, bro. That's sad, bro. You got everybody. No, I put him off. I don't even want to listen to him no more. You got everybody on here telling you this man got elevated to that championship. It just shows you David Morrell is the regular champion. Canelo got the super belt. The reason that they got Tank on there as the champion is because nobody has the regular WBA belt at 135. Bro, get out of here, bro. That's sad, bro. Bro, go ahead. Ain't nothing to put you back on for. We just showed and told you. We just told you. The man was elevated. He was the regular champion, bro. You just don't want to pay them $100, bro. Go on, pay them $100. I was trying to swindle. What? I ain't gonna hold you either. You was trying to swindle low key. I peep. I'm not Tank fan either. How I'm trying to swindle when everybody who on here know he was elevated. Everybody on here know he was elevated. Oh my God. We just saw it on Google. Well, let me show you again. Let me show y'all again. Hold on, where is that? When I just read it to y'all, it said that Tank Davis had the regular belt since 2019. He had the regular belt since 2019. He got elevated. And the reason the WBA is saying it on the site is Tank is the world WBA champion Because nobody holds the regular belt. He bet me. He bet me. What you talking about? He bet me. That was on Wikipedia. Wikipedia can be edited by. Oh Lord, have mercy. But what about what we know for a fact? That could be edited too. Tank, let me ask y'all this: Tank won the regular WBA champion. Tank wasn't the regular WBA champion. He had the belt while Devin held the other WBA, right? Then Devin Haney have the real WBA title, the super title, and Tank have the regular belt. So what y'all talking about? I'm gonna let you back on. Go ahead. Come on back on. Send it back up. I'm gonna send you the link. Because Madrimov had the W super title, WBA super title. I can't click it on here. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so the reason it does, yeah, that's correct, because if you look at every weight class that only says champion, there is no regular champion. It all just says WBA champion. And what dude's saying is true. It says Madrimov is the champion at 154. And we all know Terrence Crawford just beat him up. So I mean,
thank you, bro.
it ain't even updated for real. But everywhere you look, Sports Illustrated, freaking DAZN, PBC, all of the websites say that he the super champion. So I mean, even his own promotional company say he the super champion.
I thank you, my brother, for coming on.
Just because he say he don't want it, he don't control that. That's the sanctioning bodies. Like, you could say you don't want it, you could throw it in the trash, but that don't mean it don't change.
Now, what you feel? Can I ask you this before you get off, Michael? What you feel about this fight with Lamont Roach, man?
I think it's good for Lamont Roach. Some exposure for him, but I mean, from the perspective that everybody, all of these bums that be fighting Tank get names after they fight Tank.
Yeah.
Like Pitbull Cruz, ain't nobody care about Pitbull until he fought Tank. And we see he was a bum. He just got beat up by Ryo, who lost to Chris Colbert. Come on, man.
Come on now. So, it is what it is, my brother. I appreciate you coming on and help me out with that situation. Come on, man. Come on, man. I ain't got no reason to sit up and make nothing up. You know what I'm talking about? Leon, you owe me $100. You owe me $100. I ain't finna let you back on because you're gonna go back into that. Elevated. They care about belts, rude exposure. They care about belts because they know he ain't got none. That's the only belt he got. And I think the IBF years ago. Never unified, never nothing, never gonna be undisputed. Tank's a bum. Tank don't want to fight nobody for real. That's why we got this Lamont Roach fight. It's sickening. It's sickening. You understand me? I love you, Leo, but you owe me $100. You owe me $100, bro. Now, y'all have been on for a minute. Y'all want to keep the party going for a little bit longer? Y'all let me know. Come on, Leo. Leo, I've been watching boxing since I was 8 years old, bro. I ain't never been a hater of no man. The boy was elevated, bro. He was elevated because at first he said he didn't even want the belt because of the criticism of being emailed the belt. He didn't fight Devin for it. He said he didn't want it because of the criticism of what people been saying about email champions. Remember, David Haney was being criticized about the WBC belt that he got from Lomachenko. That's why Tank didn't want the belt, because he didn't want to be criticized, and he still took it. Come on now. Yes, sir. I done got horse sitting up here talking. Y'all, I'm about to go and get off. I've been on for 1 hour and 30 minutes. I thank y'all for y'all love and y'all support. Stay tuned to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Easy gonna get on here and tell you the truth. You understand me? Tank Davis is a bum. Don't pay for his fight. Don't spend your hard-earned working money on watching lack of entertainment fights. I love y'all. I'm up out of here. This your boy Easy. I'm